Hello everyone, in this video I will explain the concept of periodic macros. If you watched one of my previous video in which I explained the concept of periodic function, these are the functions which can accept variable number of argument or optional argument. Like that, C provide a functionality for macros which can make it accept variable number of arguments. So let's dive into the code. Here you can see I actually declared a macro function called fprinter, and this printer string is first argument a f string, which is actually a format string, followed by 3 dots or period. This operator is called ellipse operator. This is same as the way we did for periodic function. So basically this denotes that after the first argument, the rest of the argument are optional, and you can see that in the definition of this printer macro function, we are actually calling fprint and passing the first argument as standard out, since we are going to display something on the standard output screen or the console screen. Then the f string which we followed as the first parameter for this printer macro function, followed by this particular macro. This is how we actually make this particular macro function to accept variable number of argument using this underscore va underscore args underscore macro. So if you need to know more about this macro and other stuffs, you can actually go ahead and look the man page or documentation of this GCC GNU, where you can search like periodic macro in the Google and go to this documentation. They explain two different formats, one related to ISO C standard format, which is the one we are actually coding right now, and another way which is actually the built-in or the method or syntax that related to GCC. You can see the syntax over here, but we will be sticking to this ISO C standard syntax. You can also try your code with this syntax. Let's compile and run this code. Obviously, before that, we should take a look into the main function where we are actually calling or using this macro function. So here you can see that we are actually calling the printer function and passing the format string, which should be actually passed as the format string for this fprintf as the second argument, followed by va args. Here the variable arguments are this string and this integer. So obviously the fprintf will print out or substitute this particular CLC value string for this %s and 45 for this %d integer value. So obviously let me run that code. You can see GLC is my name and I 45 is code. That's it. But if you remember the syntax for periodic function, we should have at least one named argument as the first parameter. You cannot write a periodic function with optional arguments alone. This is where the periodic macros and periodic function differ, because periodic function have a little bit different syntax. Unlike the periodic functions, here the periodic macro can be actually declared or created such that it only accepts a variable number of arguments. Here you can see a second macro I created. Here I am actually only passing variable or optional argument to this macro function, and I am passing that directly as a second argument to the fprintf function. This will work, and we don't need this format string parameter anymore, because after this first parameter for fprintf, which denotes the file stream, we need to pass the format string and the variable number of argument. That will be handled by this underscore va underscore macro. So obviously we don't need to change the code or the way we call this printer macro on the main function. So if I compile and run this code, I will get the same output. It will not change. So this is all about periodic macro, but I need to tell you something about how these macros work in general. If you made some mistake using macros, sometimes it will be difficult to find. In that case, you can use the compilation switches to know or to see the preprocessor output. For example, let us discuss this line of code over here. I will be commenting out this line. You won't need this. I actually created this circle area macro, which actually take a macro as its input parameter, where you can see the above line. I defined a macro called pi, which has a value of 3.14. So this pi will be replaced by 3.14, and it just calculates the circle area. So if I pass a value of 2 or to this macro, it should actually print a value of what we can find it using this calculator. 2 star 2, it is 12.56. so let's check that out. Yeah, you can see that 12.56, but sometimes the way we declare macro really detect the output because macros are just string substitution. It will substitute the value you passed here. So what if I pass this kind of value? Here you can see I am actually passing an expression. So this expression should evaluate to 10 and the x will be actually replaced by 10. You may think like that, but that's not what's going to happen. If the value here is 10, the circle area would be pi 3.14 into 10 into 10, which should definitely yield 314. We can actually do the calculation over here. Let's confirm that. So the output should be 314. Now let's check whether output is 314 or not. No, it's not. In this case, if you want to know what actually happened, you need to take a look into the preprocessed output. We can do that by passing minus capital E option while compiling the code. Once you do that, you will get the preprocessed output. If you want to know more about how to do that, you can actually just type man gcc. Here in the end of this man page, you will definitely see more options. So this is where they explain how to stop the compilation at the preprocessing stage. If you pass minus s option, you can see the assembled output, which will be written to a .s file, and so on and so forth. You can even stop the compilation before linking. So you should read this man documentation for more information. So here you can see, even though we passed 7 plus 3 and we thought that it will be computed as 10, this is not what happened in the preprocessed output. It just replaces the text whatever you give here. So it replaces each x with 7 plus 3. This is very important. Now this is the replaced formatted string after preprocessing. Obviously you know this will yield a different result because of the precedence of operators. That's what happens. So whenever you use a macro, you should try to enclose each of this parameter like as you can see in this macro definition. This will definitely yield the right result. Here you can see that we are actually get the right result because we are actually now enclosing each of the parameter passed to the macro function by parenthesis. This will help us to yield the right result because now parenthesis has more precedence and it will calculate the value inside the operation inside the parenthesis first. So this 7 plus 3 will yield 10 in this computation. This is very important, and if we now run and compile and run the code, we will get the right result. There are some other macros you could actually try this out. I will not be explaining this video, but they are useful. We can actually replace the for loop with our own macro as you can see here. So just take a look into that. This is self-explanatory. Whenever you find difficult with these macros, you can actually use the minus capital E uppercase E option with your GCC compiler. That will definitely give you the output on the standard output screen, which is the preprocessed output. So you can inspect your macros and find out the error. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video with another topic.